It's one of a kind. It's world class. There's nothing else like it in the world.
It blew me away to see people so excited showing up.
The knowledge that I gained from being here is just phenomenal.
Everybody owns it. It belongs to everybody. So.
Possibly the coolest place on the whole planet.
It's not exactly what you would expect at first glance.
It's about solving the unknown.
It's different.
This is totally the thing, man.
And free. That's what I liked about it, mostly.
Giant minds. Geeks.
At the beginning of the third millennium, a man began collecting cast-off computers in the corner of his dining room in southeast Portland. He planned to fix them and give them to community members who couldn't afford new computers so they could harness the power of technology and the internet.
We decided to actually organize it into something, and it grew from a pile of 6 computers to 20,000 computers in a very, very short amount of time.
People need computers. People have too many computers. They'll come together. One problem will solve the other. It's like, oh, that's so simple. It's so brilliant.
It's a little chaotic in here. Just watch your step. People donate their old computers here, and then we recycle them or we reuse them. There's 2 steps to evaluation. The first step is where one of our computers has just come in from the receiving area, and it gets taken apart by one of our build volunteers to make sure that the components that are inside it aren't amazingly obsolete. When a computer is considered not working or obsolete, it'll be sent here where we separate it into its natural components, and then we send those various components off to recyclers.
The number 3 export in the U.S. is computer goods for recycling. All those container ships that come to us, full of goods from other countries, leave full of recyclable goods.
There's no regulation to stop this sort of short-term dumping, and because they're not really paying attention to the long-term health consequences. So we just can't allow things to go over there. We just prefer not to. We process things on this continent.
You work in one of our facilities for 24 hours, and then we'll give you a free computer. If you agree to build 6 computers, we'll teach you the process and we'll allow you to keep the 6th. If you're here for the free computer, the adoption program is the way to go. But if you're here for an education, the build program is the way to go. When a computer is built, it goes to one of 3 sources. It either goes to our thrift store, it's given to a 24-hour volunteer, or it's granted to a nonprofit. Our wonderful build instructor, Vagrant, is able to assist anybody with any problems, but we do encourage self-help too. That's why we have these 2 computers over here. If something confuses you and you want to get a little bit more information on it, because the build instructors unfortunately are not gods, you can use one of these 2 computers and you can look up on Google information on a specific computer component.
I think it's made me more comfortable with even using my computer simply because I still respect it, but I'm not afraid of it.
When asked, I replied that at the present, my score is approximately 160 boxes that I've built.
I started coming about 3 years ago, and I started in the adoption program. Then once I earned my computer, I moved into the build program. I'm 13.
The people that have access to technology and have access to the internet are living in a different society than those who do not have that access. The more and more that social change is happening out here on a cutting edge related to technology, the more and more you're leaving a segment of society behind that social curve. And so it's more important than ever that we allow people to get access to this, because it's becoming so everyday and so normal and so part of the culture that Google is a verb now. It's everyone needs to be able to have access to that, to be able to do that, and that's what Free Geek allows. So yeah, it's a really eclectic group of folks. You can learn some really esoteric things about worms or Mandarin Chinese, or there's a variety of really smart people full of all kinds of really interesting information that just all you gotta do is ask them, and you'll learn something kind of surprising and new all the time. To walk through the classroom and hear a class being taught in Russian, I'm just astounded that that's where we're at, that we're doing that. Makes me get all teared up and everything.
You get it to work?
Yeah, it looks like I hit it.
It's like, what's it doing now?
Oh, it's getting ready to start the football.
Ah, congratulations.
And then I go to basic check and almost done. But it took me a while because I was having problems with the hardware, the ramps.
Linux is just the best thing to us. Its philosophy is what we love the most. The philosophy is of open source. It allows us to freely edit, and that makes it a lot easier for us to provide technical support.
The concepts around open source, sharing, leveraging the work of others to get further faster, just makes sense, and it's a pragmatic approach to using software and developing software.
It allows us to know exactly what's going on because we're able to see how everything was written, and then we've made a few modifications ourselves. So a lot of people here at Free Geek have pretty much memorized the code of Linux.
I think open source has developed like it has in Oregon because, for the same reasons that Free Geek has developed in Oregon. It's that open, progressive nature of Oregonians.
I first became interested in Linux, which is one reason that I'm here, because in the Microsoft world that I was working in, I was having so many problems with viruses and other problems that were hard to solve, and I like the idea that you could learn basic commands and get into things, and you have to work on it, but you can learn how to fix it yourself, and then I'm not just always calling somebody else to help me.
It's pretty easy, even for folks who don't understand software, to be able to understand why sharing it makes sense, especially when it comes to things like governments or nonprofits or sort of the have-nots, if you will, and even the university system fits that. We went to open source because we didn't have money not to, so we were willing and able to take risks with open source that we wouldn't otherwise be able to do because of lack of resources. But what's really amazing is in Oregon we're seeing sort of a bottom-up approach, and now governments across the globe are doing it top-down. And that's something we haven't seen yet. And to be honest, those folks are coming here to find out how we've done it. They want to model what we're doing. That's pretty exciting.
Free Geek is a community. We have all sorts of cool events that come on, like parties and things.
In Portland, we celebrate our geeks. And where can you find the cream of the geek crop but here at Free Geek?
We're run as a consensus-based organization. The board of directors uses consensus, the staff uses consensus, but more importantly, we have a community council. And that community council deals with the sort of the large abstract decisions of the organization, and it is open to all.
We've got really creative people here, and they have a unique perspective on the world, and it adds to the feel of Free Geek.
It's a privilege to associate with so many people.
That's a great organization. I'm really proud to be a part of it.
I'm part of Free Geek, and Free Geek part of me.
If I'm here, probably they say I'm a geek.
The staff that we have could not even come close to doing it just by ourselves. The volunteers are crucial to an organization like this.
At 82, it's given me something useful to do, apart from just drinking tea. So I'm still in touch with people.
There's so many opportunities for an exchange of knowledge and all these things that it's less of that burnout. So we have people that have been, coming around for 5 years and still are.
I have my one wish in the world to be, I'd be independently wealthy, and I could just hang out here and just volunteer all the time.
So thanks for taking the Free Geek tour. Do you have any questions at all about anything?
The concept for Free Geek is one that could easily be done in other places. There's probably a formula for it, but it speaks more to Oregon than I think just about anywhere that I've ever been.
We'd love to be able to do more, but we need your help. So, if you know of some way of saving the planet, by helping us, we'd be thrilled. Thanks.
Well, we're trying to sell the idea that Linux is great, used computers are great, and Free Geek's a wonderful place to be. Wonderful, wonderful community.
No comment. No comment. I'm sorry, my clients have no comment on this matter.
We've got a ride here. We call it the... Well, we haven't figured out what we call it. Want to get high in the forklift? Come on, I'll show you. The idea basically is simple. All you do is get in the chair, buckle yourself in, and you go ahead, Marie. Get up in there.
All right.
Lock yourself in.
Well, we're here at Geek Fair. Do you know that nutria dipped in maple syrup is considered a delicacy in the South Sandwich Islands? Only 40 minutes past the start time. That's pretty good.
So this is a service that relies on small business homeowners who have broadband internet. And essentially what you do is you plug in a device like this. This is one of the devices we support on your home network or your office network. And then you can use your existing phones, just plug them into it, and you get your phone service delivered to you over the internet. So for instance, you can get a Portland phone number with all kinds of features and services on it, delivered over your broadband internet. Very, very cost competitive, very very fast. You can get Portland phone number turned on in about 4 hours downtown Portland.
All right. Get back. Oh my God.
Almost missed it.
Just kind of a scrapper and fixed it up and put all the fur on it. Get a lot of mixed responses. Some people are like, what the? It's fun.
They do a lot of things to help people get computers that otherwise may not be able to afford $400 or $500 for a computer. I signed up right there on the spot and began doing my volunteer hours the next week. I completed what we call the adoption program. Did 24 hours of that, and at the end of the 24 hours, I received my computer and all the accessories to go with it, my monitor, keyboard, and speakers and what have you. And I'm still using it. I really love it. And not only that, but the knowledge that I gained from being here is just phenomenal and free. That's what I liked about it, mostly.
It's going really well. We're rolling with the punches.
I think the people who printed this were less than sober.
I printed it.
The second annual occurrence of Portland's, one of Portland's favorite game shows, Geek Arena. Now, a lot of places in the country, people like to make fun of geeks. You know, they like to push them to the outside, but not in Portland. In Portland, we celebrate our geeks. And where can you find the cream of the geek crop but here at Free Geek? The way contestants will ring in by raising their hand like they did in 3rd grade, eagerly awaiting the teacher's call until they realize that that trick just gets them beat up.
But see, my name's AWOL. They call me AWOL because I'm AWOL as founder of Double AWOL Project, being a winner or loser. Because, you know, sometimes you win and sometimes you lose. Well, when you play freestyle, you always can have the attitude you're going to win.
Who would win in a surprise alleyway encounter in a Mortal Kombat between Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Batman?
Everybody knows Batman has a code against killing. Well, Buffy kills often, but it's the undead. So we have to go to the audience. Is killing the undead killing?
No. They were already. What if the undead has a soul?
Like Spike
or Angel.
Even though you would refuse to kill Buffy, you'd probably cause her to fall into a vat of some horrible chemical.
Since Batman would not kill her, she would eventually kill him.
The right questions aren't being asked. After Columbine happened, we just went about our business. We pointed at the teachers, lyrics and music, violence in movies, the parents, video games. But then that's where it stops. What about the pain behind it? And what causes that pain?
Because the doctor helped me caught the buzz, it was cliche, it was an assay, it was an overdose, it was an overdose, it was a heart attack, 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 it was a heart attack, heart attack, heart attack, heart attack, heart attack, heart attack, heart attack.
It's big. It's great. Good energy. I love it. This is what we want it to be like.
I always liked tie-dye, but I could never afford one. They were always like $15, you know, and I just couldn't put $15 out for a shirt. So I didn't own one until I started making them, and I sell them for $8 so people can afford them. So people like me can afford them.
So close. So close. He's hot in there.
Right here, you guys, and then right here are the clowns. And yeah,
we're setting up the quintain.
The what?
Quintain, geeky jousting practice device.
Are you guys the ones who can tell me what chunk means?
Yeah, they could. I'm afraid I can't tell you that because it's too stupid. And I would be embarrassed.
Try me.
No, I'm sorry, I can't.
That's what everybody wants to know. You can't tell everybody.
Who you working for? CNN, NBC, MSNBC, Al Jazeera?
Very succinct, Tom.
So are you gonna film me eating this?
Let me try again. Ladies and gentlemen, read along with me as I prepare to do something dangerous. I'm gonna need an audience volunteer. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, Marty's gonna hold this balloon in his hand. The other hand, Marty, thank you. This is just to prove that I'm dangerous.
Mining historically has not brought anything to communities that is sustainable. Typically, the jobs that do come into the communities come from other areas, and when they are done mining, they leave communities in a state of disrepair, placing the environmental cleanup on the shoulders of the taxpayers.
As is Karen Hansen, who's just passed us on the other side of our booth. We all work with recycled and reclaimed materials.
Stab that. Let my brother do. Go with that.
Particularly when you're throwing a sledgehammer around. Actually, I'm gonna get some water though. Okay. You're filming this?
Without volunteers, Free Geek would be nothing.
Okay, all you builders out there, I hope you get this one. How would you create a symbolic link to your TTYS1 device file to a modem file? Mr. Harris?
LN-S white space flop or dev modem. That's whatever.
Would you like to rebut?
I would say I'd ask the system admin to do it.
Kali, which is the double stick. It's an Indonesian form, and that's K-A-L-I. And then Eskrima is a Filipino form, and that's E-S-C-R-I-M-A.
I just learned that steel-toed boots aren't as useful as good alignment. I also learned that in the South Sandwich Islands, the nutria dipped in maple syrup is considered a delicacy.
As soon as I have this cast removed, I'm going to join up with the build program and actually learn how to build computers and gain that knowledge as well. So it saves you money on repairs and what have you, plus you end up getting a computer.
We're a nonprofit that helps people buy homes that have stable incomes and decent credit. They just can't borrow enough on the open market to buy a home. Yeah, it's really a great model because the money used to create affordable home ownership, you put the money in up front and then it lasts for family and family because the subsidy stays in, and folks get to earn equity and get a portion of the appreciation, but they also agree to sell it back to the land trust so that another family can get in at an affordable price.
Or if you're granted a laptop, if you're a local community organization, Steve Modis has probably repaired it and installed Linux on it for you. We'd like to present you with this red bag right here. And hey, red, white, blue! A gift certificate to Big Daddy Barbecue. Thank you, Steve. Thanks so much.
What are you guys making? We're making CD holders for floppy disks. Cut off the top, they're nice and fuzzy inside.
Are any of the longer neckers out here? I know Forrest is inside playing games. Hey guys, right here! We want to hand you this beautiful red bag and this gift certificate to Blind Onion Pizza and Pub. Debate! What is the best Linux distro? Ed, since you are tailing, you get to pick your favorite distro and debate why it is the best.
I would say Red Hat because it's easy to spell. The reason that people use Linux most of the time is because they want a secure operating system, usually for a server of some sort. And Debian, obviously, because it's secure and for the Debian is Linux for people who like Linux.
Can you name any of the 3 Shadow Lords that originally appeared in Ultima 5 that arose from the broken shards of Mondane's Dark Gem? 2 points awarded for if you can give their true names.
Bob, Archon.
Incorrect. That's the Shadow Lords of Cowardice, Hatred, and Falsehood. Their true names. Those Fentor, Astaroth, and Felini.
Duh, I mispronounced it.
Who's more of a geek, me or Matthew?
Well, since you're wearing the lab coat, I would say you. But since he knows more, I would say you. We had a Spider-Man versus Batman debate. Spider-Man versus Batman comes down to the debate between the science of Batman and the art of Spider-Man. The debate between you and me is the same debate, and I would never... It's art versus science. I don't know which is which. I'm art, you're science. And we're both in different realms. And as geeks, there is no better than. Because geek is about being your own person. Huzzah! Hurrah! I think I did that to Matt. But I'm still the best geek.
2 years and counting, the undefeated champion of Geek Arena. And thank you all, and go dunk Oso.
Oh, no way, Red. Come on. You've been pushing. It's not over. You're fired.
I'm trying to reset it by pulling it forward.
Okay.
Apparently a dunk's still going both ways.
I hope I didn't catch anything in the dunk tank. Can everyone say cryptosporum? Well, actually, I think there's still like a lot of energy down there around the bike folks, and when the sprockets go, I think we're gonna see a crescendo.
Digital divide, number one. Technology is a necessity for any human on the planet today, period. If you're looking at bettering yourself, bettering your kids, moving up your status in life, wanting to purchase a home, wanting to move up in your job arena, you have to have technology. These days, in order to even ring out that McDonald's hamburger, you have to have technology.
Hi, I'm Brittany.
I'm Susan.
I'm Young. And I'm Ian.
And this is a documentary on the digital divide in our community of beautiful Portland, Oregon.
Specifically with computer skills.
Who are keeping up and who's being left behind.
What do we know? Do we really know how to run computers? And a lot of the people there thought, I don't know how to do Word, I don't know how to do WordPerfect, I don't know how to do Excel. All I know is this one program. How am I going to go look for a job? There was a lot of fear.
I interviewed Craig Fondren at the Sabin Community Development Corporation.
We are a membership-based organization, and our membership is our neighbors, our merchants, our tenants. We literally are a full community or membership organization. And then we also have some families involved in that. We also have parents. So we're looking at actually covering the gamut to be able to use this tool to get a community's voice out.
We're here interviewing Nancy Gaddis, and we've got some questions for her. Do you ever feel that you've been left behind in when technology advances and you have to kind of go back and play catch up a little bit?
Sure. I mean, you go into a job interview and they look at you and they look at your age and they know that you had no computers when you were in school, and you're competing against people who are, you know, fresh out of high school, fresh out of college, and they've had a lot of education. And so when I go into a job interview, I'm competing against people who've had a lot more education and background. So I've got to, you know, mix it up and put some of that education in there and show that I've been back to school and show that I've had, you know, the grades and stuff to prove that I know how to run these programs. So you need to add that back in there.
The obstacles are number one, technology cost.
Okay, the cost.
Technology cost.
Okay.
Training cost.
Okay. And just getting computer technology donated to people who can't afford it, because not everyone can, and they're being left behind. It's not fair.
So he was saying that it's less a digital divide and more all about funding?
Right. The digital divide is basically people with money have the technology and people who don't have the money, don't have the technology, and that is the digital divide. That's what's creating people with skills and people without skills.
Is that a saleable skill to earn a decent living to raise a family?
Do you have any ideas on how the community could possibly bridge the gap in this digital divide that we've come across?
I think there's a real big gap between my age group and your age group, for instance. And I think it's hard for older people to go back and try and learn something new. You know, they say that older people have a harder time learning new things, that learning experiences for children are so much easier. They retain things better, they learn things better, you know, and you're just of that age. I mean, socially, we learn at a young age.
So we actually have kids in our lab from 5 to 12-year-olds.
Wow.
We literally cover all of the family and all of our technology.
I think a lot of the people of my generation are afraid to ask questions and say, I don't know how to do that.
Have you had to go back and take some more education to learn some of the new stuff that's been coming out in the last few years and that sort of thing?
But again, you know, working full time and being in my age group, you can't really go back to school full time. So it was more like night classes, after work classes, and there was a lot through PCC that was online. So I could stay home and hook up through the internet and get on and learn all my classes that way, which was really helpful.
And our dream one day is to do the tech bus, which is popular in California and several other places. It literally is a bus that has a computer lab on it, satellite on top. It can actually drive to locations and service people. We're looking at really trying to bring one of those to the Portland area. And then we also have some families involved in that. We also have parents. So we're looking at actually covering the gamut to be able to use this tool to get a community's voice out.
I know some old people, like, they really get behind. Like my parents, they cannot use the computer. Each time they have to ask me for help with the computer stuff. So
I'm so proud of my mom. She had never
Yeah.
used a computer before, and my company donated one that we weren't using anymore. And she was so scared to learn how to use it, but we kept encouraging her, and now she knows more than I do.
Number one, if your kid has the computer skills and he needs help with his homework,
Yeah.
he's going to call mom and dad. Mom and dad are going to help him on that computer. We need to give you some general skills to be able to help your kid.
I went back to community college 2 or 3 years ago and decided that if I was really going to be marketable out in the marketplace, I needed to have Windows, I needed to have Word, I needed to know Word Perfect, I needed to know things like PowerPoint. What the business world is looking for now is more technical stuff. And I think for people my age to go back and try and pick out which classes to take and what they need, it's real confusing. We're learning that there's a real digital divide here, that there's people who are, my age that really left out of education. And then there's people your age who went to school with computers. You had them on your desktop in 3rd grade and 4th grade, and you know about that stuff. It's taught to you when you're little. And then there's people like me who, it came on the marketplace way after we got out of school, and there's a real divide there. Some of the people in my generation have literally fallen into the chasm between computers in the computer world and non-computers. We can go in and apply for a job, but what happens on the first day of work? Are we really going to know what we need to know?
We literally want to cover technology as being a real advocacy tool and educational tool for this community.
It kind of is a little intimidating to think that I need to know all that stuff to look for a job.
We want to show you how to search, to use web search tools to benefit your life. Medical for seniors. WebMD we love, but there are lots of other things where seniors that are looking for answers to some of their issues, we can train them to patch in and go online. And we've been noticed for the work we've done nationally. And in fact, our kids right now that have filmed finance literacy for high school kids, they will be featured in this year's Federal Reserve of San Francisco's annual. And that should be coming out in the next 2 weeks.
Wonderful.
So we know we got the programming here, we know it works. We'd like to see the city of Portland and the state of Oregon kind of notice. Digital divide. Number one, technology is a necessity for any human on the planet today, period.
We'd like to thank all of the participants in this documentary,
including Craig Fondren, who is the head of the Sabin Community Development Corporation,
And Brian's mom, Nancy, who is left behind in the digital divide and potentially losing her job because of changing technologies.
and most importantly, Portland Cable Access for giving us the training to use this equipment, for their huge generosity, and also allowing us to use their equipment for this documentary.
I want to thank you, all of you, for watching this video.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. So that was our documentary. Thank you very much.
What happened?
Brian, is this thing on?
Wonderful. I need to focus on this one. Ah! Drop. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. It's all about the money.
Yes, you were right.
Honey.
It's all about the money.
Honey.
You know, you mean, do you know the Microsoft?
That, okay, edit here.
Click.
Sure.
It's not that hot.
Ian, did you fart again? That wasn't good. No.
So, here we are. We are interviewing Nancy Gaddis, who works at somewhere. I have no idea where she works. She's my mother, and I don't know where she works.
Am I going to be able to compete with the 25-year-olds who know what they're doing in the computer market, who can put trees on the side of a hill? You know?
I don't know. I'm only 23.
Hi, Ian.
It's take a nibble out of that.
Let it come down and bonk him in the head while he's talking.
Be like, flap.
It's hot.
There'll be a lot of this. And not too much of this.
Gosh. Okay, you know what? Cut. Interviewing Nancy Gaddis, who works at somewhere. I have no idea where she works. She's my mother, and I don't know where she works.
Am I going to be able to compete with the 25-year-olds who know what they're doing in the computer market, who can put trees on the side of a hill? You know?
I don't know. I'm only 23.
Hi, Ian.
It's take a nibble out of that.
Let it come down and bonk him in the head while he's talking.
Be like, flap.
It's hot.
There'll be a lot of this. And not too much of this.
Gosh. Okay, you know what? Cut.
That it needed climate control. Organizations any better than, whatever, here's a joint puppet theater, but, gosh.
We started the center because there is no place in the United States that preserves and educates people about 3D imagery. And so this is the only museum and gallery of its kind in the United States. Well, we organized as a private club many years ago. However, we started the center in the fall of 2003 and actually opened in February 2004. So we've been open now coming close to 3 years. But we also wanted people who do this kind of art in various forms to have a place to display and show it. And we thought it was important that people have a place to come and learn how to do 3D imagery. You take these boxes, you stand directly in front of one of the images,
Okay.
put it right up to your nose and look straight ahead. Do you see it in 3D?
Yeah.
Well, that's a good thing.
That's very cool.
So we've reached out and we've gotten more support nationally. We're now in Fodor's travel book, AAA travel book. So we have people coming to Portland especially looking for us. That's kind of cool. We've gotten some press and some articles about the center. That's wonderful. And we've got a class structure going that we didn't have, of course, when we first started. We also have acquired quite a few more exhibits than we had when we first started, as people have been donating things to the center. In fact, maybe even more. We're bursting at the seams right now. We have a few more things than we're actually able to display. But that's a good thing. That's, that means we'll have to make the next step eventually.
We continually receive both long-term loans and donations of stereoscopic equipment, which is fantastic. It adds to our collection. And earlier this year, the National Stereoscopic Association dispersed the Oliver Wendell Holmes Stereo Research Library, which was a very unique resource, both educationally and in terms of the significance of 3D imagery throughout history. The collection was dispersed and was split between the Smithsonian Institution and the 3D Center. So earlier this summer we received the archives, which totals almost 300 items, including cameras, viewers, equipment, research articles, and so that is now part of our permanent collection as a museum, so that's really exciting for us.
Some people walk through the door, don't know a thing about this or what it's all about. And it's so much fun when they pick up the viewer and they look at the first image and they go, wow, and you know they see it. Other people walk in, and they've been doing 3D for years. Maybe they've heard about us somewhere, maybe they do their own 3D and they're local. And they walk around and they just enjoy having a place to come where they can see the art exhibits as they come through. So it's lots of fun, quite a variety.
So yeah, they're all original images. These were as popular, the stereoscopes and the stereo cards were as popular 100 years ago as television is today. Right. Everybody had one in their house. You didn't have to be wealthy to have one. They had traveling salesmen. They'd go door to door and sell individual cards and boxed sets. So
It was like parlor amusements.
yeah, basically.
Right.
One of our younger trademarks. This month's featured artist, he is a Palestinian artist who lives in Japan. His name is Vladimir Tamari. He's the first 3D drawer that we have had. He does stereoscopic drawings. We're really excited to have this show because Mr. Tamari invented what he calls the 3DD, which is a 3D drawing instrument, which we actually have on display at the center.
He's quite a talented artist, and he draws one side of the picture and the machine draws the second side of the picture with some manipulations from him. And that creates a stereo pair that can be viewed in 3D.
Turn on and go. I'll
We're
just
with
kind
Alan
of.
Kent on Council Crest, and Alan is a treasure hunter. Is that what you'd call yourself, Alan?
Yeah. We search for all kinds of different things like coins, money, bottles, different objects. We Geek called on a lot of recovery times. Find lots of rings, jewelry, and lots of different things as well. As last year we kind of helped solve a murder case in Vancouver, Washington with a sheriff department there. And looks like we might have a good target right here.
The sheriff's department actually called you to come out and look for something.
Yes, they did. There's a murder case or a drug deal. What happened, somebody got shot about 8 or 9 times, got killed. And what we did, we went out there and found the shell casings for them. And I found the shell casings that they had the guy in the house and everything, and there it is right there. Looks like a penny.
So what do we have?
Looks like a penny.
No way to tell from the beep what you've got going then.
Well, kind of. It will vary, but it gives you different responses at different times in that. Ooh, another one down there. Got a glory hole here. So there's more than one in the hole, so you always want to check your holes and make sure there's...
Even after you've dug it, then you might be finding something else.
Oh, there it is. I think we're right there. So this shows there is multiple coins and people lose. They just don't lose singles. They can actually lose more than one. I'm going to have to get another fix on this here and see about where it's at here. I very gently like to probe. That way I don't want to scratch anything, especially like a ring and that, knock the stones or anything out if there is any. Still down there. There it is right there, and here it comes, right to, there it is right there. See, tell how long the coins have been in the ground because the imprint of the grass, you know, probably 3 or 4 or 5 years ago when that coin was dropped, being down about probably an inch or two.
And that again is another penny.
That's another penny.
How often does it happen that you get pennies?
Oh, pennies, you're going to find more of them than more than anything else.
Uh-huh.
You know, a lot of people laugh at you, you know, oh, I'll just find pennies after pennies, but those pennies do add up. Plus the fact that pennies now are being made out of zinc instead of copper, so maybe another 20 years from now, that copper pennies are going to be worth more than a penny, so we'll start off here.
What's the most valuable thing you've ever found, Alan?
Most valuable? Let me think for that. I'll ponder on that for a second here. Cash-wise, I found about a year ago about 40 1-ounce Cougarans. It was a buried cache. That was actually buried by this man. Kind of left a little egg nest for the wife, and he was killed in an automobile accident. And they were doing some logging in this area, and she wanted to recover it, so she contacted me, and it took me about 45 minutes. Found it. It was in a black PVC container, and it was about 40 1-ounce Cougarans, South African Cougarans in there.
She hired you to find that?
Yes, she did. And where it was buried, I don't know. He must have been a favorite spot because you'd never found that in 1,000 years out in the middle of the woods. I mean, it was middle of nowhere. Well, my target ID, this machine here will give you a kind of different types of targets and that. And it's kind of jumping around here pretty erratic, so it's probably a bottle cap. I want to speed up just a bit.
You can tell by the way it's beeping.
Yes. With this system here, it's got once you understand it and learn it, there's many different things you can do with it, as it will allow you to predetermine the type of target it is. It'll give you what we call a probable target identification. Which helps a lot because you can sort out between the bottle caps, coins, pull tabs, rings. So you can really speed up your recovery quite a bit here too.
This is a fairly sophisticated machine you're using
then. Yes, it is. It's a very modern machine. It's called a scanner, made by Compass. It's a very easy machine to actually learn how to operate. But for the newcomer to this hobby, there's a few things they have to learn and understand is proper sweep speeds and kind of learning the machine. That's the hardest part for most people. But once they master it, it's going to pass that up as a bad target there.
That's your parlance for a faulty signal or a bottle cap?
Yeah, there's so many bottle caps up here. It's actually rejecting them very well, but with problem we have up here is a lot of people like consume their beverages up here, and of course the bottle caps, they end up out here in the middle of the park and that. So of course we do one thing we always do, we recover those targets and we dispose of them in a proper way, which we take it and stick them in the dumpster, or once we get home clean up our pouches and that and check our targets and that.
Is there a certain excitement involved in sweeping for lost materials?
Oh, the thrill of discovery. You never know what that next beat might not be. It could be a gold ring, and maybe a nice old coin, be a exclusive gold coin. You never know. There's been quite a few gold coins found in the Portland area here, so.
Have you
There-
personally found gold coins other than the Krugerrands you were talking about?
Actually, no, I haven't. I've been kind of not been blessed with some people I know as finding gold coins. And I think we probably got another coin down here. We'll just gently probe down here and see if we can make contact without trying to scratch it.
How much would you make in an average day, Ken?
Oh, that will vary. What I like to do when I hunt, I like the older coins myself, in which new stuff is all right. It's good for the, put back in circulation after you find it. That's another penny, 1981. As thing is, once you get the act of it, this is actually one hobby you will sink some money into, but the rewards are beyond.
How much? Starting out, how much would you say?
You could start out maybe a second-hand machine from $50 right on up to $1,000, But it's a good idea to start out with a good piece of equipment.
Alan, how much, if you don't mind my asking, is a piece of equipment you're using right now worth? Is that a...
Look at about $650.
So about a mid-range machine.
Yeah, it's just about mid-range, but this is a multi-purpose machine. It's not only suited for coins, but it will find gold, gold nugget hunting, cache hunting.
Now, I've noticed a few people around us have made comments about your hunting and maybe chided you a little bit. Is that common?
Oh, yeah.
What kind of comments do you get?
Well, there's all sorts of different comments we come up with as how much you finding bottle caps, and do I get half, whatever you find, so there's always a lot of things people throw at you in that, but actually...
Is it ever embarrassing?
Not really, no. There's a dime right there.
Our biggest haul so far?
Yep, 10 cents.
What's the date on that one?
Looks like 89D.
So no rare find there?
No rare find there, but it's spending money though. But one good thing, make contact with people, because actually I have a lot of people come up and ask me, oh, will this find my grandmother's ring I lost 30, 40 years ago in her grandmother's front yard,
And they hire you to come out and look for it?
They'll ask me, and sometimes, you gotta kind of look out for the wild goose chases that, a lot of people come up, and they'll hit you up with some big treasure stories and that, but the thing is, you never find one unless you don't get out and look for it, so. But you'll have to kind of weed the bad out from the good. And if it ain't too far out of the way, it can be done, and maybe.
What's the advantage of joining a treasure hunting club or a metal detecting club?
Well, Metal Detecting Club here in the Portland area, what we have created was a club for people to get together, has the same, more or less same interests, which like finding money and jewelry. And we have pretty well a group of people that does research for us, because research is the key to everything.
Is it just funner to search with other people?
Oh, yes. Sometimes there's particular people I care not to hunt with, but another coin here.
Well, when you say, now you're saying this is a coin and you sound pretty certain about that.
Oh yeah, there's a lot
just by the sound of the beat.
There's a lot of coins out here, and we'll just go in. Plus what the meter's reading, if the meter ain't lying to me here, we'll probably get a penny or a dime here. Let's see
what would you say your style of hunting is as opposed to somebody who you care not to hunt with?
Well, the most important aspect of this hobby to preserve its applications here in the park is don't leave any big gaping holes. A lot of times I find where people dug, lay the trash to the side of the hole, keep on going, or worse yet, a lot of times they'll put the trash back in the hole.
It's a high impact style.
Yeah, and people come along, and many times I've dug, where somebody else dug, and found coins, but also I found a lot of trash, you know, the stuff at the back of the hole, and it has to be redug again. But the worst area is if they leave big gaping holes or the dirt out or the trash out, and that's kind of a bad name for the treasure hunters, because basically our idea is we like to clean up the environment too. You know, we have our
Is this your main hobby, Alan?
yes, it is. For about the last 25 years it has been.
How many hours a week would you say you spend doing it?
Oh, Lord. Times I used to spend 50, 60, 70 hours a week hunting.
Really?
Yes.
Now, a lot of people listening would say, wow, that's a lot of time.
But you got to realize there's a lot of money out in the ground, too. And like I say, it's one hobby you may put money into, but if you do everything right and learn the tricks of the trade, it's a very profitable hobby at the top of that.
How profitable?
Well, it varies. There we go, another dime. Looks like a newer one. It's been on the ground for quite a few years, a 74. There, it's been down there for a few years. Profitability-wise, it does buy my gas at times. It does put some nice jewelry on my wife's fingers at times too. Usually I don't see that very often, as once my wife gets it, it's gone, you know, so. But of course, if there's any way to find out who lost it and return it, we always like to try to do that, because...
So you like to feel like you're doing a community service too?
Oh yes, I know the sentimental value of a lot of things. People can be very great, which I've been in the same situation, you know, at times, so I know that feeling, and something of very importance been lost. If there's a way to find it, we'll sure try to find it for them and return it to back to those individuals.
Alan, how many young people do you have interested in metal detecting?
Well, kids, give you an example, I have two children. I have a daughter 6 and a son 9. And my son, he's getting to be a very good hunter. He's starting to realize the value of money, so he gets out with me and he goes on our club outings. He goes to treasure hunts with us, as well as my daughter. She's not quite into it as much as my son, but my son, you know, he's found his first couple little items, you know, to really get his appetite wet to keep on going.
It's a fever then.
Yeah, we call it the gold bug, gold fever. Once you get bitten, you know, it's like myself. Once I got bit, I just never been able to shake it. Times I've tried, I guarantee that, but it's just something that, just kind of a hobby that I cannot never turn loose of, because it's just a way of life for me that I like to find hidden, buried things in the ground.
Do you have particular sites that you won't tell anybody about?
Oh, you bet.
Now, is that true of every metal detector?
Not always, no. There's some people like to open up and be very open about areas to hunt. But in the past, I've learned that areas I've found very extremely good things or valuable things, once word leaks out, there's always people trying to, you know, jump in before you. And I've been in a couple situations where I found good things, mentioned it, and some haphazardly treasure hunter got in there and they really ripped up the ground. And they caused a lot of problems for this one area. So to the point, I'm very selective on who I tell, you know, trusted friends is.
Well, Alan, why did you agree to do the video? I would assume that most metal detectors would say, well, hey, you know, we don't want all that many people getting in the sport.
Well, to be truthful with you, this is one hobby I enjoy a lot, and I think the exposure of this hobby, we always like to see new people become involved in it. And believe it or not, I've seen a lot of people that, I guess you believe in beginner's luck, I've seen a lot of people have that ability. First day out, really find something, it makes me envy of them, you know. I've been...
It's no myth then, it really happens.
It does happen.
What did you find on your first day?
First day, well, I guess I'd have to recall myself starting out. It was kind of a slow start. You know, something I didn't really find nothing really great. But as time went on, the more things I started finding and adding up, then I started realizing the potential of all these different items, whether it's relics or bottles or coins, jewelry. And I found my fair share of good targets over the years. And basically I have my dry spells as like anyone else, I guess, but there are those individuals that are so blasted lucky, you know, they just, you almost want to be around them at all times. Now this is a fairly deep target here. This is probably down about 4 inches here. Let's see where we're going to get at. Ah, got a coin.
Could you tell that from the beak that it was deep?
It was pretty strong. It's another penny here.
This could be an older one.
No, it's a memorial. It could be an early memorial, but see, it's really been on the ground a long time. See, looks like in the 64 penny. So it's probably been on the ground about 6, 8 years, maybe a good 6, 8 years. Be down there that deep.
So far we've made 13 cents.
Well,
more than that.
Yeah, it all adds up though. I mean, this is one hobby that you can spend lots and lots of time at. And like I say, sometimes I have my dry spells. Don't find nothing too good, but you gotta realistically think of it as once you find silver coins, minted from 1964 or earlier on the dimes, quarters, and halves, those are at least worth 3 times face value. So every silver quarter you find, you figure that's a good 75 cents right there. However, depending on the date and mint mark, you can turn up some key coins, could be worth a few $1,000s a piece too, you know. But the most important thing is not hitting, trying to scratch the target, because if you gouge out a coin that could be a very semi-key or valuable coin, the value will dramatically drop. I'll give you a good example. We hunt a little bit on the Oregon Trail. My friend, he found a real nice 1846 $10 gold piece. But he got a little careless with his knife. Put about 3/8 inch scratch right across the back of the eagle. Beautiful coin in the condition it was in. It was about extra fine. But unfortunately, the value of the coin, it dropped for anything as far as being just other than worse than a gold coin. So you have to be cautious, careful. And this is another coin, I bet you. Whoa, we got a big signal here.
Might that be a sprinkler pipe or something?
Could be. It might be. Now, let's see here. We're going to try to do this here. We got a very immense signal here, but I believe there's a target in here, which is probably a coin. So we're going to try to isolate this here. We're going right down here.
Run into conflicts with your family about whether you're going to be mowing the lawn or out treasure?
Yeah, I have my fair share of conflicts. Good friend of mine, he's been laid off years ago. This job he had, he seen the potential of metal detecting in the earlier days here in the Portland area. He actually got fired from his job because he spent so much time out in the field. He'd be calling in sick all the time because he would get into certain areas and start finding such good stuff, you know. He didn't want to leave it, so instead of going to work, and he would actually just continue detecting until it got to a point he got laid off from his job. So he's not that way today, but that's kind of
more popular than it's ever been?
I believe so, especially when gold and silver prices are up back in the early 80s, I should say. Gold's around 800 an ounce. metal detecting really made its big peak right there.
What kind of a person does it take to be a metal detector?
Well, to begin with, take someone that likes to get their hands dirty, doesn't really care if their hands get dirty, because you're going to do a lot of digging no matter what you do. And it takes a lot of patience and persistence, because I've been in areas I get skunked. Now, I look back my early days when I started, if I wouldn't have stuck with it, I'd probably never be doing this today, because it does take a lot of patience. And there are times it is very frustrating, because you will dig a lot of bottle caps, find a lot of trash targets, but I look at the tail end of everything. The flip side of the coin is the return of what you do find, which is pretty nice. And I just scratched something here. I hope it wasn't a coin. Whoa, look at that. Quarter and a penny. I just hit it here. 2 more coins in a hole. Boy, look at that. I just gouged that quarter. Lucky it wasn't a silver one.
Now, if that would have been a gold doubloon,
well, then I'd be
hopping
crying.
up and down.
I'd be hopping up, down, and crying at the same time, probably. It's a clad quarter. You can see where the penny is laid on for all those years in the ground there, from the imprint of it there.
And how old are these coins?
Look like they're from the 70s here. Actually, yep, that's from 70, and so they've been in the ground for quite a while. Be down there that deep.
Howdy.
How you doing?
Everybody would look dumb here because we don't know what you're doing.
Looking for coins. We're looking for coins right now.
Must be detecting your belt buckle there.
Yeah. Found some gold there, huh?
Do you have some money in your pocket?
Little.
Maybe it's detecting that.
Yeah, it's called a metal detector, and we look for different lost objects like coins, jewelry, rings.
Right.
You folks from around here?
Bavaria.
Bavaria. Well, welcome. Is this the first time in the States? Or?
Oh, not really, no.
Ah. Well, I bet
I'd
you.
like to come over here whenever possible at this time of the year.
Yeah, well, you picked a good time to come over.
It's a nice time of year too. It stayed so nice and warm.
Yeah.
We read in the newspapers back home it's pretty cold already.
Yeah, well, I bet Bavaria's. I'm sure Bavaria's got a lot of buried treasure for a country as old as that is.
Okay.
You ever?
Good hunt, huh?
Well, thank you. By the way, you ever see any metal detectors over in your part of the world over there?
I know they exist, but we have never done this.
Oh. Fascinating hobby.
Because we need them for the Roman coins everywhere, you know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Lots of those over
We
there.
have lots of excavations in our area.
We live near the old line, the old Roman border, you know, because the Germans in those times were the wild people in the woods, and they had their border near the Danube and the Rhine River.
Yeah,
So just
the Via Augusta
south of that, there were the main
straight
camps,
through our
headquarters. Our
city.
town is 2,000 years old, the Roman
Boy,
camp.
that'd be my place to hunt.
Yeah, you find a lot of these, but we have never tried that. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an exciting hobby.
What kind of coins do you find? Would you find that?
So far we're just mostly new day modern coins and that. Nothing really old, but.
There's no, it doesn't happen to be a historical place in that sense, no.
Have you ever hit anything old? I mean, older maybe.
Well, old here in the States, not quite as old as from where you're from, you know.
No, but I mean,
But-
if you dig up a golden eagle or something.
Well,
What do you
well, we like.
Do you dig up lost wedding rings or things?
Yeah, we dig them up too. Yeah, they find them, but no lost eagles today so far.
Go
So.
along the shore and, you know.
Beach hunting, you bet. Especially where people get on the beach a lot. Find a lot of good.
Is there any metal it doesn't indicate?
Stainless steel is probably one of the hardest metals to detect. Well, it really depends on the size and shape of it, but gold is probably one of the trickiest metals to find because of its density and the way the detector responds to it. But
Are you distracted by a lot of iron stuff?
yeah, we find a lot of iron. You know, we find a lot of bottle caps. We dig our fair shares. Yeah, but course, amongst all that stuff there too, there could be some good coins or.
Okay.
That's what I like about Americans. Everybody has one hobby. You're all monomaniacs.
Okay, thank you now. Okay, bye. Enjoy your stay. Let's go to Bavaria.
Well, Alan, we're about out of time. Is there anything
Okay.
you wanted to be sure and say before we were done?
Yeah, I'd like to say that in this hobby today, it's a very exciting, wonderful hobby, and as long as they do not destroy the property, always obtain permission whenever you possibly can. If you have questions, you always check with the park departments. That, like, Portland area is wide open for metal detecting, as long as you're not out here digging up with a shovel and scattering your trash around. It's an exciting, fun hobby, and like I say, there's a pretty immense amount of wealth hidden under this ground.
The involvement with the Hearst Club is, I guess it's just a sort of a mutual love of the cars. We like to get together and discuss car stuff like like all car clubs do. Help each other find parts and talk about our experiences owning the car. What happens to us when we're out in public sometimes. We share stories, and we just have fun like any other group.
To have all different walks of people together, you know. Sometimes necessarily you wouldn't be in the same room with all these different kinds of people because of personalities and lifestyles. So it's pretty cool to be in a room that you have that common bond of owning a hearse and have an opportunity to meet somebody you might necessarily not have been able to meet because of your lifestyles not crossing paths.
Well, my involvement in the Hearst Club, to me, is kind of separating myself from the crowd of normal car clubs. It's a little obscure and different, and kind of shocking to most people.
So I just always wanted one, and when the opportunity came and I could afford one, you know, I bought it. I didn't know what I was going to do with it, but I just knew I really wanted to have it. And of course, mine's probably the most project car in the club. It needs about everything.
It just sort of fell in my lap, and I decided to buy it. And from there, it's just been quite an adventure.
You fall quite in love with these cars pretty quick, you know, and once you own it, you really want to maintain it and keep it running and keep it looking good, because it's a car, it's a classic car.
A lot of
You
work.
don't make them like this anymore, just not just hearses, just in general.
Owning a hearse, you kind of pay to drive the car you really want in any case.
It's actually very relaxing being in a hearse because it's kind of the whole atmosphere. It's kind of lush inside, and you know they're made to drive smoothly and be comfortable. So yeah, it's actually a really nice, peaceful ride.
Most people like boats, they name, seems to be a female. It's always
Yeah.
in female.
They're definitely female. These cars are definitely. Mine is.
Oh yes, all fine vehicles have names. This hearse is named Triska, which is short for triskaidekaphobia, which is fear of the number 13. And her first hearse rally, she was the 13th hearse there, so it's kind of meant to be. She's the only woman who understands me.
What's it called?
Haunted horse.
Delilah.
Shriek.
I can never come up with anything to call it, so it's just a hearse.
Oh, the name of the car, yes. On day one, she told me her name was Victoria. I call her Vicky. I tried to rename her. She didn't like that. And I came up with a nickname for her one day at a junkyard, but she hates the nickname, so I don't dare use it because every time I use the nickname, something breaks.
People seem particularly taken aback with the fact there's a baby seat on the front seat of the hearse. When the kids aren't with me, I have a little 3-foot skeleton I put in it.
I don't know. I think since a kid, I just always was gravitated towards horror movies and creepy, spooky things. It's kind of funny. My mom always kind of wonders where I got it from, but as a kid, she would, like on the weekends, take me to old cemeteries just to look around. So
I remember one time we were going up to a couple hearses to a place that we decided to go up to, and we passed a person walking. We were driving this way, and they crossed themselves with the cross, religious cross, not out of being scared or anything, out of respect for what it represents, death and stuff. So I thought that was pretty cool.
That's one of my favorite hearse stories. I was on my way there one night. It's about 2 in the morning. I'm tired. I stop at a rest stop, crash in the back. At about 4 a.m. I hear this clicking, and I open my eyes, and there's this flash going off. There's an old lady taking a picture of me sleeping in the back of the hearse. So I flop around to see what's going on, and I hear this little kid's voice, "Mommy, it moved." So I just had to mess with him. So I jumped up, scared this poor little girl out of her mind. Out of her mind. But what are you gonna do? It's a hearse, and I gotta be me, so.
The main misconception I think people have about hearses is the fact that people died in them. Nobody died in this car. This car was bought new from the factory. Then I bought it, so everybody listen up now, I bought it from a funeral home. That means that nobody has died in this car. If you own an old car and you didn't buy it new, you can't be sure nobody died in your car, but I can.
I gotta think in later years, they're gonna look back, they're gonna be sitting hanging with their friends, and they're gonna go, "Dude, my dad had an effing hearse. That was messed up," you know. But hopefully they'll look back and, you know, in their rebellious stage, they'll become, you know, Republicans or something, you know. And
people do have a little bit of a misconception about hearses. Some of the reactions I've gotten have been positive ones, but it's probably been about half and half. Some positive, some negative. Again, I think anything like a coffin or a hearse is a constant reminder that we are only mortal and that death is around the corner for each and every one of us, so live each day till its fullest.
here at the 2005 Cycle Messenger World Championships. We're about to witness the penultimate event of this year's championships, the main race. Many are here, one will be chosen.
Okay, everybody, what you're looking at here is 150 of the hardest working messengers in the world. We got people here from over 30 countries. Cycle Messenger World Championships, 13th annual. Are you ready?
Jesus Christ! That is beautiful.
On a beaucoup qui sont arrivés. Non, ça pas. Nous, on a dit aller dans les 12. Ah, vous êtes dans les 12, sur les 12 premiers, mais il y a 6. Ouais, mais...
Hey folks, Clarence here from Bike TV at the Cycling Messenger World Championships. You may notice that the audio is out of sync here. That's because we failed to record audio. But you may know that tattoos and body art are a big part of the Messenger subculture. and we're over here at the tattoo judging competition where riders will be judged in 2 categories: 1, bicycle art, and 2, overall. Check it out.
It's a travel log sleeve. It's eventually going to be, full sleeve. Basically, anywhere I go, I have the money to spare for a tattoo, I add another chain ring or 2, and they're all vintage chain rings from about the 1890s on through about the 60s or 70s.
So you want to tell us about those two tattoos, when you got them and why?
First tattoo, Godspeed Courier right here. The wingman is my courier company in San Francisco. The flames. Getting hot with the Godspeed Courier. The spaceship taking off.
This is the track stand, that's it, man.
Wow. So what was the inspiration for that?
My first girlfriend taught me how to ride fixed gear.
Really? How long you had that for?
4 years now. Much longer than the girlfriend.
Shackles.
Yeah?
Shackles. The rest of my life. There she is in the window. She's got the
Bike category. The #1 winner is number 105. In the non-bike related tattoos, we got number 180. You are first.
I really didn't do any work. I just had to sit there.
What's the inspiration behind it?
Just being a bike messenger, riding through the city, seeing cars on fire.
Where are you from?
Ottawa.
Wow.
Canada.
How was the trip down?
Long, my ass is a bit sore, but that's about it.
You rode all the way?
Yeah.
So how's it feel to be the winner?
It's great. I gotta thank my artist. It's good. Yeah, I like the piece.
So what's the inspiration behind that?
I actually won 2 hours free from this dude, and I told him to start a sleeve for me, and that's what he did. It worked out fantastic.
And how long is it so far taken to?
It took 17 hours. It's done.
All in one?
No, like 5.
And where are you from?
Chicago.
If you're riding a fixed gear bicycle, a lot of guys do it with no brakes, and so you lock up the rear wheel to stop, and so you skid to a stop. So the deal with skids is it's like how far can you skid, right? And there's guys who can skid, and the qualifying is 300 feet. So that means, that's a football field. I was trying to qualify, and I did that. And actually, if you look carefully, you can actually see, well, you could actually see through it to the other side.
Push it!
Yeah, hold on. It's Kid. Come on, Chad!
hit the car.
I watch Bike TV.
Thanks, Bike TV. Bike TV.
I love Bike TV.
It's the greatest thing in the world.
Sure is.
I love it so much.
Thank you for Bike TV.
And do you watch Bike TV?
Bike TV, yeah. This is the place to be. Nothing short of wonderful.
Loving it, I'm loving it. It's the best.
Yeehaw!
Hi, Bike TV.
Watch Bike TV and I love it.
Love Bike TV.
It's so cool.
Thank heavens. Sterling performance by all the staff.
Oh yeah, I watch Bike TV.
Of course I watch Bike TV. I love
right.
Bike TV.
I'll second his views.
I watch Bike TV.
It's a great idea.
When my friends with cable invite me over, I watch Bike TV and I love it.
You're in it to win it?
I'm in it to win it and the style points.
Bike TV.
Bike TV, yeah.
What is the thing that made you love this event more than any others? Because you got the gear, you got the look, you know. What is it?
You ready to rock?
Yeah, it's gonna be a beautiful day.
Yeah, that's all you can hope
It's gonna
for.
be fun. Leave me alone and stop talking to me. I'm gonna punch you in your mouth, straight up. All right.
You're gonna go to the checkpoint on the manifest. You're gonna pick up a package. They're not gonna stamp it. You don't have to worry about the pick stamp. The egg, if you break it, if you can't get to the checkpoint without breaking it, go home.
I'll carry everybody's eggs. Out of the way, buddy. Yes, man!
What are they going to be picking up and dropping off here?
They come and they drop off the watermelon and they pick up one of those tires over there.
So there's a strategy. They may come back and get the tire later.
It's all cargo management
Yes.
involving, and they also have to carry an egg throughout
Yes.
the race.
And not
if they
break
break
it.
the egg, they're disqualified. You know.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
It involves brains and brawn.
Check it, make sure I got everything.
Woo! Congratulations.
Yeah! Track stand.
Yes, peoples. Yes. Oh, God. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5 minutes.
Oh, yeah, yeah. God Almighty. Bless it. You don't know big man. Now when I say big man. Oh, God.
3, 2, 1. Ahead. Ahead.
My
to go home and be 9 to go home. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. No hands, no hands, no hands. War time rocker. Lord God, this come up before me fucking bomb. 4, 3, 2, 1. 1 foot. 1 foot.
Portland's down.
First of all, congratulations on your World Championship. Is this your first World Championships?
No, it's my second. Well, it's the third I've attended, and it's the second track stand championship that I won.
Okay, great. And you said you're from Berkeley, California?
Yeah.
Excellent. And how old were you when you did your first track stand?
Well, when I was on a BMX bike, I used to do a version of the track stand where your feet kind of pet the front wheel, and you can do that no-handed. So I started pretty young, probably about 9. But then I'm a kind of messenger that likes to, this is completely strange for messenger culture. I like to stop at red lights usually, and so I get to practice every single stoplight that's red. So I've been doing that for for about 6 or 8 years or something. Track stands at red lights. When I found out that what the messenger championship track stand event was like, then I knew how to goof off specifically to get better at messenger championship track standing, and so I started messing around with the 1 foot. It was a kind of a fluky thing. It was everything was behind schedule, and then all of a sudden when we were in the bar drinking our beers, track stand! Everybody go out into the rain! And so I didn't find a good spot, and I was cold, and so it just didn't work out for me.
Yeah.
So it's nice to come back and just reaffirm that I can do it.
Oh yeah.
Watch how they keep the road, but we just keep on chatting on again as this keep the road. Oh yo. Road back! I said road back, goddammit!
Hey, it's 8:50. I've got just over a half hour to make it to the World Trade Center so I can get out to Jersey City in under an hour. And I'm in New Bed-Stuy, part of Brooklyn. And this is my helmet camera.
I don't know, an alley cat, a race. It's supposed to be a race. And to me, it's gotta take place in traffic. You gotta play with the streets.
Feels like it's summertime in the city. All Puerto Rican girls looking pretty. Going down the Pitt Street pool right. All Puerto Ricans real cool. Like my mommy make me go some school. Oh.
Carry bananas.
Carry bananas.
I guess.
Going down Tompkins Square. John Joseph some soup there. And Merle sound a funeral tape. Not sure it's one. Illustrate straight worst taste.
Of New Jersey, is it like dry the entire state on Sunday?
I don't know, man. All I got some cookies, man. I don't know shit about no dry.
All Puerto Rican girls look great. Oi, 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 on my back. Last night, give her like an ass, 100 smacks. Her brother hits his boys for a sneak attack. Whoa!
Summertime in the city with someone pretty. Then my idea nifty. Then my idea nifty.
What happened?
Margaritas, daiquiris, Coronas, and Rastafari music. What more can you ask for?
Summertime in the city. Summertime in the city.
I'm never alone on a summer night. Never alone on a summer night.
Oh, I'm fucking feeling lovely right now, man. I'm gonna go to a checkpoint, get me a beer, get my spliff, and sit back for a minute before I do Alley Cat tonight.
Summer night, Channel 13. Fire.
Girls from all over the world.
The XW for the extra wow. Now repeat. The XW is for the extra wow.
British, French, and Europeans are intelligent, stunning,
I'm never alone on a summer night. Channel 30. Fire. It feels like summertime in the city.
Yeah, and then we're back live. It's an earthquake. Oh, shit. Oh, earthquake.
Feels like it's summertime in the city. All Puerto Rican girls looking pretty. Going down the Pitt Street pool right. All Puerto Ricans real cool. Like my mommy make me go some school. Oh.
This is the kind of thing that should have been in the information booklet.
Going down Tompkins Square. John Joseph some soup there. And Merle sound a funeral tape. Not sure it's one. Illustrate straight worst taste.
What do you say about polo?
I like it.
Oh.
Feels like it's summertime in the city. All Puerto Rican girls look great. Oi, 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 on my back. Last night, give her like an ass, 100 smacks. Her brother hits his boys for a sneak attack. Whoa! Hey, all Puerto Rican girls looking pretty. Going down the Pitt Street pool right. All Puerto Ricans real cool. Like my mommy make me go some school. Whoa. Going down Tompkins Square. John Joseph some soup there. And Merle sound a funeral tape. Not sure it's one. Illustrate straight worst taste. Feels like it's summertime in the city. All Puerto Rican girls look great.
In the city, in the city, in the city.
The extra W is for extra wow.
You make it happen. You're the one. You make it happen. You're having fun. Say what's on your mind. Spread the word. Letting your voice be heard. Putting your views on the line. Exposing causes your